The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the position of the management and staff of Guardian Network.
Gentlemen, take your marks. Set.
My brothers and sisters around the world, Christmas is nearly 3 weeks away. Much thanks for those who are watching, listening via various different platforms, and kudos to Jonquel Jones. She was noted 30-30. I can't remember what do I call it, edition that came out in. And kudos to our athletes at the Pan American Games. And can you tell us a little bit about that? My co-host is Philippa Arnett.
Good evening, everyone, and listeners. Thank you for joining us today. Well, Alpheus, yes, the under 23 Pan American Games was held in Colombia, and our Bahamian athletes went and represented us well. I mean, given as late as we are in the season.
In the season, yes.
Yeah, I think they did well. We came home with one medal, which was from Kyle Elsim, in a bronze in the high jump. But I think all of the athletes really performed well. Another standout there was Carlos Brown, one of the youngest athletes in the male division. That was
and he was in Kenya.
Sprints.
He was in Kenya?
Yes, he was.
Yes.
Exactly.
That's important. It's a long season.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Tiger Woods was at Albany for the Hero World Challenge. Well, we know that Tiger Woods has not really played real golf for about 2 years or so, or a year and a half.
Since the accident, about maybe 2 years.
Yes.
Almost. That's how quickly COVID has passed.
Yes.
It's passing.
So, players, I'm talking about those who came to Albany, they donated $184,000, and they asked the Bahamians who play golf to match it. And I think that is more than significant. Well, congratulations to Denise Turnquest, the first president of Commonwealth Bank. Her daughter participated. I don't know if she's participating now, but I know she's finished school. She went to QC. She used to be with the Star Trackers. And I said, Denise Turnquest was the first Bahamian woman to be the head of Commonwealth Bank. Just let it sink down a little bit.
Phenomenal.
Okay? And then I had the opportunity to was with this young lady who knows me a long time, and she said that she watches the show all the time.
You have a lot of those followers, Alpheus. You sure do.
And then there is this young man at Bahama. His name is Joseph Ferguson. I forgot to ask him whether it was what I'm calling Mangrove Key or Exuma, because we are Fergusons from Exuma. And I need to say, I'm talking about Alive and Scotia in Cable Beach. Thank you for doing all you could have done on the situation. As I said, my co-host is Philippa Arnett. Did you buy any gifts for your people other than your son? family and friends.
I have no Christmas shopping as yet, Alpheus. But watching us right now, watching you is Juanita DeVoe, all the way from Atlanta.
Atlanta. We good cousin. We
Yes.
good cousin.
Good cousin.
Cousin to Shark. Yes. And so, Track World is brought to us by Sun Oil Limited, Arawak Homes, Sunshine Insurance, my bestseller book, From Vancouver to Athens, 50 Years of Bahamian International Track and Field Competition. AFD Management Services in Peardale. The CEO is none other than Freeman DeVoe, my good cousin. And all of our cousins are good, whether it's on the Andrews side or the Exuma side. Well, their business is oil and energy. Vaughan Cullenbaugh Insurance Brokers and Agents. And then we have, I have been in the financial services business for more than I said before, but it's now 41 years at Kalina.
Congratulations.
My daughter, Alexis Hannah, is my business partner. We are the A-team at Kalina, and this is excellent timing to take advantages of our services. You know, we're talking about the services that we've talked about, and it is unbelievable. If you start some of those things before Christmas and you continue, you're gonna be right there. I had some family who had some money, and he had had some money. You have to do it with money. And he came, he wanted to do an insurance or whatever, and we decided that, no, you don't do any insurance. The $1,000 that you putting out, you find a way to do that with our people at Kalina. And that is important. Now, we're going to go to our first break, and after our first break, your day. I asked you that before, but tell me about your day again.
Well, I've had a busy day at work, but happy to be here. It's always exciting to listen in to Track World and now to be a part with you. So definitely happy to be here. I had a wonderful day. I can't complain.
Okay, so we'll go to our break, and
Yes.
and then we will shock the world, hopefully.
Yes.
Yes?
I am Bernard F. Hanna. All of you should know me as this thing. I've got the very first copy from Vancouver to Athens. You know, I'm so excited because to be the one to have the first copy, I know what it was for over the years, his dedication and his excitement, his commitment to bring this bestseller book to us. And I'm excited to have in my possession not only one copy, but two copies from Vancouver to Athens. 50 years of Bahamian International Track and the Field Competition. This is great stuff. So I'm urging all of you to get your own copy. You could get it from Logos in the Harbor Bay, or Nassau Stationers on Rosetta Street, or Chapter 1 at COB, or at Coral News and Gifts in the domestic section of the Linden Pinland Airport. Let me tell you, man, you will never regret it. This kind of information that you get in this book is really invaluable. It's just terrific stuff. Good sports history, true and factual, you know. So I urge you, just go and get it and keep a copy, and even give your friends a copy. And you know, one reason I am more excited about having this book, look at page 200. and you will see me there in live and living color performing. Number 200, you will see Bernard F. Hanna performing, and that is my fulfillment, one of my big fulfillment of having this book.
Hello from the Shell Fuel Labs, where my team of dedicated scientists develop Shell fuels for your car.
For over 100 years, fuels innovation has been at the heart of everything we do.
Since our first ever branded petrol in 1907, we've broken records, supported Ferrari F1 to win Grand Prix, and pushed our fuels to the limit.
Now, every time you fill up your Shell, your engine will benefit from our passion for innovation, helping you to get the most out of every tankful.
With over 100 years of quality fuels innovation,
You can be sure of Shell.
Are you planning on gift shopping, visiting family and friends, or going out to dinner during the holidays? Don't forget to pay attention to the latest public health protocols and regulations. We must continue to wash our hands and sanitize frequently. Wear our masks. Avoid touching our faces. Cough and sneeze into our elbows, and maintain a distance of at least 3 feet away from others in public. If we all follow these tips, we can have a happy and healthy holiday season.
This message brought to you by Bahamas Ministry of Health in conjunction with Guardian Radio.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're back on, and the music that you heard was something that I call Kush, that I started to use when I became the public relations officer for the B3As, and that is a T-Connection song, one of the best. And ladies and gentlemen, I trust that each and every one of you are enjoying the time going up to, Christmas. And I need to tell you that it's most important that you remember the reason for the season. I know we're coming out of the pandemic and all of that, but please remember the reason for the season. There are a number of people who have a significant amount of monies to assist. And well, we're talking once again about the Christmas time. I have a number of people that will be enjoying Christmas time, and one of them is none other than my grandson. And his name is Sadiq Hanna. Sadiq Hanna. And the other one is somebody who is near and dear to him is Miss Shireen, the housekeeper. And as we talk about Christmas, Canetta Minus has a birthday last week. Rudy Lavarty has a birthday, and with Rudy, you can say what a man's age is. 70. And it is something else. Rudy was one of our greatest sprinters that we've had in the past. And then Carol Misseris. And she is a sister of none other than Tim Munnings, none other than them. And then we're talking about Clarice Roker, who used to run the 800 meters and the 1,500 meters. And then we talk about Austin Speedo Albury. Mike Sands had been to Montreal, and when he came home, we had a meet, and in that meet, it was the 150 yards, and Speedo Albury beat him at that time. And on the 12th, you're talking about George Roden. George Roden, I said he is from Jamaica. He is one of the athletes who was a part of the team that defeated the United States team many years ago. And nobody in Jamaica seems to know where George Roden is. You know, he went to that school that you went to?
Morgan State.
Morgan State, yeah, Morgan State.
Morgan Bears.
Yes. And I talked about, as I said, my sister is going to be 91. And that's what I am talking about.
That's a blessing. Well, you have your brother online, Spence Fellison. He's saying, hey, Hawk. You also have Maria Gonzalez. She is watching in. And Brenda DeVoe.
Family of mine. Mm-hmm. Oh, she may be one of them from, I'm not sure. The people are all over. Family is all over. So while we're here, just let me mention the...
Nakisha Curtis and Kevin Smith are also watching.
Oh, okay. Excellent. We have Nurse Juanita Green. I think she used to, she was at Atlantis, and she's a nurse, but she got a PhD. Ain't that something else? Mm-hmm. She passed last week, and it is something else. Leela Green's husband, that's her sister. And then we're talking about Emmett King, a sprinter. Emmett King. I'm sure that he participated with Fabian Wims at some point. Participated with one another. And then you're old enough to know about Bob Dole?
No, I'm not.
No, well, Bob Dole died, I think it would have been Saturday or Sunday, at 98. He tried and tried. He went all over the world, I'm saying, for the United States. He got shot. That's the one that I think that Trump said that he's interested in the ones who didn't get shot. But then he'd been a senator, the majority one now, for a long time.
Okay.
Well, and of course, he had a much younger wife. But he passed at home, and that's so important.
It's a long life, though.
Yes. So let's talk about some other sports, if we can, please. I mean, other things in track and field.
Well, on the weekend,
Excuse me, and we do apologize once more time. We have to apologize. So talk.
Well, on the weekend, Alpheus, the B3As held their all-age, the NACAC all-age, CAC all-age championships, well, the trials for the age divisions under 13 and under 15. And at the end of the trials, of course, there were two girls, two boys for each division that will be traveling to Nicaragua in December 18th, somewhere thereabout. Yes, so
talking about
competition
right
still
now?
Going on. Exactly. So it was.
They're going to come home for Christmas.
For Christmas, that's right. So that's their Christmas gift. And those athletes, the younger athletes, they were very excited. We had a very good, supportive crowd as well to the meet. It was on Friday evening and Saturday. So we want to thank them, of course.
So did the athletes from Grand Bahama?
Oh, yes, and actually in both divisions, Grand Bahama is represented. Exactly.
Okay, that is
Yeah, I
good.
remember one for sure, Kiesra Thomas. She stands out. So definitely she'll be representing Grand Bahama on the team.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, it was a very exciting competition this weekend for that age group.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we go right into the B3H's normal schedule, January 8th. So that'll be the odd distance meet. And every other weekend, there'll probably be a club meet that will be held, and very exciting. I think this year will be very exciting coming off of such a high year,
Yes, yes.
and a year so uncertain of COVID. But we're excited, definitely.
Well, I invite whoever wants to talk about track and field just to call in.
Mm-hmm.
The numbers to call are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259. You can call into those numbers. I know you may be, what do I call it, shopping now, but it's already dark.
That's right.
It's already dark.
But what do you feel about the results of the World Athletics Female Athlete and Male of the Year? Very outstanding, both athletes.
Very outstanding.
Yes,
Very
and I
outstanding.
definitely love the Rising Stars as well.
Oh, yes. Rising Stars is very important. Who were the Rising Stars?
Well, on the female side, she was from the U.S. I can't remember her name.
The 800?
Yes, the
meter,
800
yes,
meter,
yes.
right, yes. She definitely, and I thought it was well deserved
Mm-hmm,
on her end. And Knighton was on the guy side, Arrington Knighton.
Well, I forgot to mention that over this weekend, they had the USA meeting that they always have, okay? Then the Hall of Fame that our good friend does it.
Yeah.
And who is that? Lewis Johnson, one of a kind.
Oh, he was the presenter. Okay.
Nelly Always. Good evening. Good evening.
Good evening. How you doing?
Very well.
All right.
Say that again.
I'm wondering if this. Good evening to your guest, Mr. Vincent.
Yes, sir.
Good evening.
All right. I'm wondering if this question is above your pay grade, but I'm going to ask you, but it anyway. Mr. Vincent, after spending so much years inside track and field, what do you think is the highlight of your career as a track and field enthusiast to make sure our athletes from the world stage be really supported by our government and try to be as close as we could on par with other athletes in the United States?
Well, please let me say this. In Gothenburg, I had the idea of presenting cash in Gothenburg. I had it to myself. And to London, on the way to Gothenburg, it was Livingston Boswick with me. It was who we just had in one of the shows, Foster Dorset, and myself. And I called Asa Ferguson. Asa is the treasurer. So I told him what we were going to do. And he said, where's the money coming from? But people tend to forget that we had never won a World Championships medal. So I thought that it would have been significant that we had already had Frank Rutherford got a bronze medal in the Olympics. But I thought that what we should have done was concentrate on the World Championships. Now, when we got to Gothenburg, we spoke with the athletes. Sounded good to them. If you win a gold medal, it would be $10,000.
Yes.
Government now. If you won a bronze medal, it would have been $7,500. Now, we were watching Troy Camp jumping. I said nothing to the minister, Algernon S.P.B. Allen. And Pauline got her bronze right after Troy won the gold. So I took him to the IWF office, and he said, the government of the Bahamas will give them $10,000, $7,500. And people said he was not, well, he's a cabinet minister, but that's all the way around the world. And at that time, nobody thought that he had asked anybody. But I'll tell you this. From that time, we were walking back to the hotel in Gothenburg, and he said, with Gus Cooper now, they were the first ones to go to the Olympics. Is different. And guess what? He said it's going to be athletics in Atlanta. And that's where it started in terms of athletes getting subventions and everything else. And now, when you look at what they were getting in those days, it's completely different from now. But at the same time, we need to say that movement has been going on, and we have people who have a good idea of sports, okay? The minister of sports. And, they just don't talk out of their head, They have people gather with them and make a decision as to what to do. And it is significant. And one of the things I...
so how do you, in answering the
in answering
guest's
it is,
question.
we're going forward.
Okay.
And I'm saying this. Let me say this, that in the climate, the Prime Minister, Brave Davis, started his address with Stevie and Shawnee. We have 400,000 people in the Bahamas. And the numbers that we have are small compared to the rest. So I'm saying that we are moving forward. Your thoughts?
I agree with you on that, but I'm piggybacking on the numbers that you just said. In my opinion, for capital, we have won the last 4 Olympics.
All the time.
All the time.
All the time.
From
For
Frank
capital,
Rutherford?
where we've been competing on this world stage where the countries 300 and 400 times our size. And it's coming from just a country with just 400,000 people. I consider them continuous ambassadors of their prizes for winning on the world stage should be equivalent to the ambassadors of these people of these different states that they do their appointment. That's my opinion.
Well,
it should be right on par.
Well, let me say this.
When it comes to convention and all of that, because I think they're doing in numerous ways, maybe putting the Bahamas on the world stage more than any one of the ambassadors that they appoint.
Well, let me just mention something.
By virtue of what they're doing, yes.
Yeah, let me mention something. Tyrone from the Ministry of Tourism and myself, we went to Monaco with regards to getting new events in the Bahamas, okay? And we had the opportunity with somebody who was in Monaco, involved in the body, and he said, people much more money than we ever give them, and we're doing much better than them. And he is from Morocco. So just listen to that, what we're doing. And
That's a powerful statement. That is definitely a powerful. But before we go on, we want to say hello. You have Bernadette Gibson watching. And
oh,
Tyrone
Bernadette,
Nabi,
thank you.
my cousin.
And who's the other person?
Tyrone
Nabi?
Nabi, yes.
Oh, yes. At the airport? Or
Yes, yes.
yes. So anybody else
Thank
who
you for, I want to thank you for engaging with you, but one last thing I go, before I go, Mr. President. Like I said, I'm going to end like how I started. You've been involved in sports all of these years, and I want to, if you could, make that the priority or the highlight of your track into the enthusiastic career to at least beef up some of the vintage athletes and try to get more athletes. There's a lot of athletes in Beantown, East Street, and these other places who would only need a chance and get some convention, and we will be creating much more Pauline Davis and Troy Camp of the Bahamas. That's my concern.
thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. But please remember the world that my business is insurance. I've been around for 41 years, and a lot of my money has gone because of being all over the world. But that's what I enjoy. I enjoy music. I enjoy. We have what we call jazz. That I had my nephew come down here and play. So I have all kinds of interests and things that I like, and I really can't spend my time talking. We talk about what's her name, the javelin thrower. Laverne. I mean, she has the opportunity to go throughout the islands and do some things.
Well, that's easier said than done.
We know that.
Everything
is easier said than done,
Correct.
but it needs to be done. To do it again and listen to what Spence says. It don't just happen. You do it again and again.
Of course, but then again, I mean, just like you said, you're in the business of insurance. She's also in another field working.
Yes.
So again, my thing is always, and I've tried to say this sometimes to the B3As and to the stakeholders. What we need to do is try to find some form of independent factor that could more or less, represent accountability to maybe other stakeholders here and abroad, that whereas a management company that's primarily focused on track and field being even associated and unassociated, let me say that firstly, from the B3As and from the BOC, because again, they have their platforms. But if there is an independent person, an independent company that can form such of a company, whereas their entire thing is raising funding for track and field to assist a BOC, to assist a B3As at those times of travel, and that accountability and that revolving, not just travel, but education, of course, education, mental, all of these different things in track and field, because it's needed. And when we look around the world and when we look here in this country, we can do this. We can do this. And I think for me, it's always been, and I hope, a dream for someone to come up with it and be trusted well enough to actually be that accountability.
Let me say this. There are plenty of people in the Bahamas who have accountability.
Yeah.
But you gotta think of who they would be. But when you're doing a search,
you start small, Alphys. You start small and you get bigger, because I look at the company.
I don't mean that.
Agreed.
I'm talking about the people all around. They have to be asked. Do you know nobody has ever asked me?
That's a shame.
No, nobody has ever asked me to assist. Never.
On record, Alpheus.
Yeah,
Oh,
never.
wow.
I'm on record.
Wow.
I'm on record. Yes.
Yeah, that's, and I guess that's an important statement. You have to ask and you have to be willing to put it there, because when you look at Battle for Atlantis, how it started small. It started with a small management company. Yes, they were in the business, but they weren't as big as what they are now.
No, not at all.
Nowhere near as big. And so you see that format and everything, the platform growing so huge at Battle for Atlantis, and now spinning off to Bahama. And these are things that I think people love track and field. Bahamians love track and field.
Yes.
And I think if we get out there and, pretty much grow on such an idea, I think there would be no need for a subvention of some sort, because not saying to negate it, not saying to dismiss it.
At the specific level.
Correct.
That
correct.
makes the difference.
Yeah, and it's growth in the program, and it encourages athletes as well. It encourages coaches, because it won't just be for the athletes. It will be for the program of track and field in its entirety.
Well, let me say this. I had the opportunity that with the Olympics in Sydney, raise a ton of money quickly, because they have the connections.
Yes.
You have the connections. A number of other. Oh man, it's unbelievable that the people who are in the financial services.
They're there, and I can tell you, Alpheus, I can tell you, and I won't put them out in the open right now.
No,
but
no,
I know
no,
we had
nothing to be in the open.
Correct. We had a track meet, the last track meet that I think the B3s was trying to put on before the end of the track
Yes,
season,
yes.
senior nationals and around there, and we needed some funds. I called 2 people. And they was like, yes.
Yes, yes.
And like you say, sometimes it's simply just asking.
Asking,
That's
but
what
it's
it
how
is.
you ask,
Of course. Well, sometimes it's who's asking.
who
as
you
well.
ask and how you ask.
Totally.
But I have been a salesman all of my life. So that's what you do.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is that I do know people who are responsible, and depending on how you approach them,
Agreed.
we can do it.
Yeah.
So
So that could be your platform, Alpheus.
I'll talk about it.
Like your caller just said.
I'll talk about it again and again. But let's skip to Eugene, Oregon. I said every time that we're in this place, I need to talk about it.
We have to.
We need to talk about it.
I'm going to tell you this. One of your very, very loyal listeners, Lenora, and she works at Credit Suisse, loves your show, always listening to you whenever I see her. Today, and I'm going to put this out to the president of NACAC, Mr. Sands. She said, Philippa, if you know when Miramar is going to happen next year, if it's going to
ready to go.
happen, she said, please let me know, because I want to be there.
Yes.
That meet was fabulous. That meet was at such a high level. I mean, the top of the creme was there at that track meet. And if NACAC continues that, which I think the discussions are ongoing to continue it, she was like, please let me know. Please let me know. So, and I'm sure there's a lot of other listeners and people in track and field who are out there like that at that high level.
That's really important. Miramar is close.
Yes.
But we have Nassau in the beautiful Bahamas.
Of course.
How many meets have we had other than Grifter?
Well, I think let's be fair to both federations, the NACAC and the B3As, and even the government. Let's be fair. COVID, it's been here for about 2 years.
Yeah, understand that.
Right.
Understand
So
that.
I think that played a role, and I know helping and assisting in the Miramar planning a little with Mr. Sands and his team, that was one of the unfortunate factors, because the intention was to have that meet here in the Bahamas. That was the plan.
Yes.
There was no question about it. But the meet was such a success in Miramar. They have, begged, I understand. And if Mr. Sands is listening, he can call in and correct us.
Yes.
But it was my understanding that they've begged for him and NACAC to bring it back. And believe me, if that meet continues in this year, that can be a circuit meet.
Yes, yes.
Because it was that level of track athletes at that meet and performed at its top level.
We had a circuit meet. You know what was the circuit meet? The meet to go to Atlanta.
Yeah.
And when Amadeo Francis looked at all the meets that were around in our region now, the Bahamas was number one.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, the Bahamas was number one.
No one does
what
it
I'm
better.
Saying, but what I'm saying is that Amadeo is still here. He listens to things and everything. But what I'm saying is that we have to pull people in,
Yeah.
gather together,
Agreed.
and go from there.
Agreed.
Because we can,
Oh, we can do it because
Yeah.
we've done it before. We've done
Yes.
it before, and there are many persons who are still in the business of it.
Of course.
Who are still around.
Lyndon Maycock was the first one.
Simon Wilson,
Yeah,
who's now the
Yeah.
financial secretary. He was one of the key players in World Relays
Yes,
for
yes.
the Bahamas, of course, for the government, but together with the organizers of the meet. So he would definitely have all of what was needed, what it took, the numbers, everything between him and Lyndon, and of course Mr. Brathwaite. All of them played.
Mr. Brathwaite,
Correct.
very important. Guess what?
Keith Parker.
James Smith. Mm-hmm. You know James Smith?
I do.
Okay, well, James Smith was when we had to go to him
Right.
for, I can't remember exactly what we were doing. We've done so many things.
Yeah.
So the people are still here.
They're there. And then you just have, and again, people just want to see when you come for funding, they want to see
Thank you.
where it's going
Where it's
and
gonna
what
go and-
it's for.
That's right.
That's all they want
That's
to see.
right, that's right.
You can't just go and say, give me some money. You need to
not
let them
what-
know.
no.
Yeah, because, there's records, there's checks and balances.
Yes,
so
yes,
those
yes.
things are necessary when you go and ask for funding, And then, of course, they want to see the success of the event.
Of course.
So-
of course.
All of that plays a role, and I think we can do it here in the Bahamas. We've done it, and there's no reason why we can't continue doing it.
Remember when we had the event and we were doing for the very first time in the world now in the Bahamas.
That's right.
I mentioned it to BJ, and the people who would do records would get money.
That's right.
But BJ is tight, always tight. Marty says that he is just what he calls himself, a bookkeeper. But he knows where the money is.
Yeah.
He knows where the money is.
That's
and
good.
that was an event that we gave them about $170-something thousand dollars.
yeah.
More than they were able to do in, as I say, in Toronto.
Yeah, it's there. It's possible. And let's even use World Relays as a premier event. That was the first time it was ever held here in the Bahamas. And let's imagine this. Every championship since World Relays used that entrance
Yeah.
that was thought up
Oh, yes.
right
Oh,
here
yes,
in the
yes,
Bahamas.
yes.
They've dazzled it a little bit
Yeah,
here
yeah,
and there, but the idea of the teams coming in as an entrance, the athletes coming in and making their, giving a stance, giving something.
And they did it all over the world.
Born right here.
All over the world.
Born
yes.
right here. So we have the thinkers, we have the inventors, we have the persons that can make things happen here in sports, here in totality, because it's always done better in
Yeah.
the Bahamas.
Better in the Bahamas.
Of course.
What time is it?
It's now 7:12. Track time is 7:12.
Oh, okay. So the question now is, were we going to the World
that
Championships in
Eugene, Oregon.
Eugene, Oregon? So, well, of course, there's a break. And we do have some athletes, in my opinion, who can make that team.
Some, we
But
have a lot.
No, just mentioning it. This is something that I have.
Yeah.
Looking at the newspapers. Runs through the rain. Chris Brown.
That's right.
Okay? But you have, at the Nationals, you have to make, unless you're going to be on a relay team, you have to make the time.
Of course. Of course.
You have to do it.
Of course.
And that's what competition is about. You remember in Eugene last year, what happened with the person who was unbelievable in the 800 meters?
Let me tell you something else. Is I think for me in track and field, I've always said, despite whatever differences USA track and field might have, you have to respect them for when it comes to their trials. It's either show up, and if you don't show up today,
Stay home.
you're going to stay home, and you could have, the fourth best time in the world.
That's right.
But you didn't make the team. And they stick to that. So it's not, or, I can't run this. If that's the event you're going to run at the championship, you're going to run it here. And if you don't run it here, well, I don't know how they choose to put other persons on the team. But I think watching their history in their trials for world championships, for the Olympics, they've kept their standard. You either show up at the trials or you don't. You just don't make it. You don't make it, and it's unfortunate. And then you hear the stories. I mean, they would do a story on the person who didn't make it now, who would probably been the leader going into the trials or going into whatever. But I'm sorry, you weren't here to show us today. And
but with the COVID Olympics, you realize that they did something new.
Phenomenal
With
times.
phenomenal with
Haywood Field?
No, hooking up at the Olympics with families all over the United States.
Oh yes. You're
Made a
talking-
significant difference.
And I say this too. I mean, sometimes too, I think athletes do. All of us have a little fear.
That's a part of it.
But let's imagine there were no athletes. I mean, no spectators in the stadium other than coaches and whatsoever.
Yeah.
But look at the phenomenal times.
Yes.
I mean, there might be a little twist on. Some people have their own thoughts about this year.
Yes.
This year and how times were and what they weren't. The bottom line is, as long as they've tested and they have tested negative and we don't have any proof, you can't point fingers.
yeah.
This is what it is, and the times were phenomenal. So the athletes showed up. And they were in their elements. They did excellent.
Switch again. What about the ceremony that we're talking about?
In where?
Yeah, for the athlete of the year and all of that.
Oh, I thought it was.
Were you able to
virtual?
watch it?
Of course,
Oh,
of
man,
course.
I sent it to some people.
Shouldn't put that on record, but of course, because I had it. I had the reminder set, and yes,
Yeah.
I did. It was excellent, and it was virtual last year as well.
Yes,
last year,
yes.
Otto
It was,
and
yes.
Otto and Sonia were the hosts last year.
Uh-huh.
So it was definitely great, and kudos to NACAC. I see. Mike was in his dog heaven.
Yes.
Yes, NACAC represented so well. I mean, even on the country, Costa Rica with Jane Clark, being recognized.
Of course.
I was very happy, serving on the Women's Commission for some years with NACAC. It's a pleasure to see people who are contributing so much to their countries. And what we don't understand is the Bahamas is small. Some of these countries are widespread. I mean, millions of people. And then they still have to select from those millions
of course.
a handful of people to represent them.
Yes.
That's a hard thing to do.
Yes.
Yes. And to withstand all of that and everything that they go through in their countries, Jane deserves it. I think she's an excellent person. She's been around for a very long time. She's contributed a lot to women in sports and women in athletics. So
And
I
that
was
is
very happy for her.
An interesting area.
Yeah.
They
Costa
have
Rica.
their own area.
Yes, definitely.
Unfortunately, I wanted to go to Costa Rica, but you can't go to everything. You have to determine where you're going, whether you're going to.
Well, I had the pleasure in 2019 to serve and share with Kareem. Kareem, we did the commentating on the side for the meet, and it was definitely, I loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it.
So can we
for that
have some
experience.
excitement with Bahamian track and field?
Of course we can. Let's do it.
Anybody wants to call in and have your say?
Yes.
And we don't charge you anything.
Not at all.
You don't get free things. Even with the things you find in the mall and everything else, you can call and have your say, like the young man.
And be heard, and just
be
give your
heard.
exactly.
What is so interesting is that you don't have to be a genius to come up with something.
No.
But what I'm saying is that some of the things that people come up with, and I am sure things that I've found out before, with it because it makes sense.
Yes.
It definitely makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to switch just a little bit to Dion Cunningham.
Okay.
Dion Cunningham, gave myself and Clothy Lockhart, who worked with us, worked at the building where the Prime Minister's office is now. And she gave the opportunity of speaking to the people who were turning 65.
Okay, that's almost
Yeah,
been,
yeah. to retire.
To retire.
Oh man, and that was so positive. That was so positive. Real positive. So his mother, I'm saying Cunningham's mother, I'm trying to remember what the father's name now, but he is in Bellet Road, in that area, off of Milo Butler Highway. They have something out there, and he will be there this Friday and Saturday.
Okay.
And for those of you who don't know him, when we were in the London World Championships, he said, Mr. Finlayson, I'm going to help you with some things. He just come from doing some things in Spain. And then he got a job at Life at Key. And he said, well, Mr. Finlayson, I don't have that time anymore. I said, I do appreciate it. But I not just appreciate track and field, but the things that Dion Cunningham does. It is just unbelievable. But if you don't believe me, all you need to do is go out there and on Friday evening and Saturday, and you will see some significant things happen there. And that family is not just Dion himself, you know. Okay?
And where is this, Alpheus? Where is this happening?
I call
On
it
Bellet Road.
Bellet Road.
It's
if you go to where's that now? You go to Coca-Cola. You come in north.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you.
Is it the church? Is that Cunningham's church?
Yeah, that's Cunningham Church.
Okay, yeah.
That is it.
I think I don't know the name of the church, but I know it's a church.
yeah.
They have
Keno's birthday is today,
Correct,
by the
and-
way. I needed to say
oh, happy birthday, Keno.
to
He's a
Keno.
sucker.
Happy
Woo-hoo.
birthday to Keno, and Keno will be there.
Okay, that's his church.
Yeah, that's his church.
Yeah, that's his church. Definitely.
But
yeah.
this young man has gone all through the United States, even McAllister
Okay.
in Minnesota.
Okay.
I think he had an opportunity to be there a little earlier, but he went all around the place, and he is bringing a significant number of artists.
Good stuff.
So I'm telling you, don't forget it.
Don't forget.
Try to find out from somebody where it's going to be, what is happening,
And when?
and when.
Okay.
You may hear about it. I'm going on Friday night, but
Okay.
you may hear about it at Bahamas at Sunrise.
Okay.
Because they had him on a couple of days ago.
Okay.
I think on, and they will have him on again, as far as I know, because they repeat things.
Okay.
And I know it's something else. And you shouldn't miss it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You shouldn't miss it. For $30. For $30. Man, it's unbelievable what you would get.
I can imagine.
When you're leaving, you want to put some more in the offerings.
Well, that's cool. But while we're waiting, Alfie, while we were talking about the Rising Star and Male and Female Athlete of the Year for
Yes.
World Athletics, I think we did not talk about Shawnee Miller won Female Athlete of the Year for the Bahamas.
Yes, yes.
And Stephen Gardner won Male Athlete of the
Yes,
Year
yes.
for the Bahamas. And our Rising Stars was Reba Audubon and Keyshawn Strawn, who's
Yes.
heading to Auburn, actually. He signed to go to Auburn.
Uh-huh.
He's graduating from St. John's. And, kudos to them. And kudos to the Rising Star of the World Athletics is Ating Mu. I don't know how I forgot her name.
you forgot.
Right. Texas A&M and Erin and Knighton, like I said, the 17-year-old American. So the U.S. cleaned up on the Rising Stars. And then the Male Athlete of the Year was Karsten Warholm
He is
from Norway. I mean,
Unbelievable.
phenomenal is more like
He
it.
looks like he's mad when he goes.
Oh my God, he looks like he's
mad.
crazy.
Crazy
And then
man.
Jamaica,
Yeah.
Elaine Thompson.
Elaine
Hill,
Thompson.
Of course,
Oh.
yeah. And
She says there's another world record coming in Eugene.
She said she's
and they
not
have
stopping.
all kinds of Jamaicans in that area, cattle in that area.
so it's definitely going to be. So all of our listeners, if you are there, if you out there, and you can make it to Eugene, Oregon next year for World Championships, do not miss it. Just try to go on and find out how you can find your way if not in Eugene, the closest place that you can get to drive up to, to just to feel the presence.
Well,
It-
we've
it will
already
be
decided
exciting.
that we're going through Seattle and coming from Seattle down there. But as I said, there are a ton of Bahamians in that area
Mm-hmm.
that we are not, we don't know enough about in that area. And I'm sure that Russell Wilson is going to come.
Oh my goodness, he's right there, eh?
Oh, he's right there, Seattle.
right there. That's right.
I haven't been to Seattle. I have flown over to.
That's my team.
Yeah, but I've flown over to, at that time, from Seattle to Tokyo
Okay.
and those places.
Okay.
But, now American has different routes and
Right,
all of
right,
that.
right.
But you can't miss flying to Seattle
Yeah.
and you're right there.
I think I shared before all of our trips for the NCAAs. Every trip that we made from Maryland to Eugene, our stops were in Seattle. So that's like the skip hopping away to Eugene for our athletes, for schools. So it's like a hub. So when you get there, you see all the athletes that you're probably going to
Of course,
compete
yes,
against,
yes.
and everybody's all excited and everything. But definitely next year, that will be a busy place.
And
to
try to get your tickets or whatever it is early as you can.
Even though a lot of things are sold out, but
Yeah,
make it happen.
Yeah, well-
There's always still people are holding things, but that doesn't mean that
Yeah.
they're actually going to get it.
No.
Yeah, so exciting time for track and field for sure in this North American side of the world.
Yeah. The
And
first
congratulations to NACAC again
Yeah.
for
The
World
first
Athletics.
time in the United States.
Yes.
Just please remember that. We had a World Championships in Edmonton, but the United States really never ever checked for doing anything for their athletes because they're so good, as they say. And,
Yeah. Yep.
I don't know. I guess some of them are going to be going to see Biden, eh?
Nah, listen.
After.
And I think too, they dazzled Haywood Field.
Oh, yes.
Alpheus, oh my God, you need to see it. It is gorgeous. It is absolutely gorgeous. So definitely just to be
And it's
there.
going to be a little bit better than what we saw
Of course.
at the trials.
Of course. So
Well, I'd like to thank everybody who listened to the show, the young man who called in. Any final words?
well, no,
Philippa?
just definitely happy to be here. And we thank to all of our listeners here at Track World. And have a great week.
And remember what Christmas is,
Remember what Christmas is. Yes.
okay?
Yes.
It's not partying and everything else.
Season for giving
Season for giving.
and love.
And my daughter, her birthday is Christmas Day.
Goodness.
Christmas Day. Kermit, thank you ever so much for the show, and we look forward to being back here next week. Thank you ever so much. Bye now.